Hello there. This is Mark, and I just want to take a couple moments of your time to explain where I'm at in researching some makerspace concepts that we could roll out as a Splash Foundation PTA and School for Concordia. First off, in kind of the spirit of the makerspace, just kind of want to show you what we're working with here. We got some amazing high technology video overhead production equipment on paper slides. So that being said, just kind of bear with me. So what I want to do for a moment here is just talk about the makerspace market. What have I gone out and seen and talked to? And in summary, I really kind of divide this up into three different categories. There's vendors of products that you need to create a makerspace. There's services, people that provide a service. And then there's venues where you can go to places and do projects and create things like that. So for instance, we've got some places that just provide products like 3D printers and all the accessories for that, different tools like a cue ball, a wireless microphone that you can use in classrooms, 3D printer supplies, Arduino products, Makersome is another one. Here is something that's kind of interesting. This one is called a Trash for Teachers. And what this does is rescues clean and safe materials that local manufacturers discard, and they transform them into inspiration. So this is basically the probably lowest tech concept that I saw out there, literally taking cast-offs from production and giving the kids the time and the space to create stuff on their own. Then we can look at some of the different services that are offered from people that, the same people that do Trash for Teachers, also come out and do professional development. They will also build a maker space at your school for about $6,000. Win Education, other type of places that will come out and have a program kind of in a box, so to speak, that they come out to your location or school, or you can go to them and they will kind of set you in motion for an hour or an hour and a half on a particular project. And they too also have professional development. We get all the way up to the first robotics kind of competition. This is a little bit more at the high school level. But you can see some of the teams that are in it locally. Huntington Beach, San Clemente now has a team that is at the high end of this makerspace concept. There's other places where you can get professional developments for teachers, micro-credentialing. Teachers want to get involved in this as well. There's places that they can go to learn how to do that. You can actually hire some professionals that come out and provide workshops, teaching tools, professional development. This lady in particular kind of is in this field, will do all sorts of different offerings from professional development to helping you develop your own lab and everything in between. Then another subset is what we're looking at, the venues. Where can you go right now as kids and parents? You can go to these different places. Steam powered inspirecharterschools.org is all the way out there. The Urban Workshop up near the Orange County Airport, Vocademy, the Makerspace, different type of places like that. There's the STEM Center. This is kind of a hybrid of both. They are up in Claremont, where they do after-school programs where you could pay to play, or they will come out to your school if you're close to do that. Play Well. This group of people will basically come out to your school or location with the biggest collection of Legos you've ever seen and let you play freely or kind of work on a project. Then there's this other places that will do a little bit of both. They'll come out and have these programs for you. So if you want to get into video editing or learn basic languages, or how to work with Arduino and Pi, Raspberry Pi, there's all sorts of certifications that you can go through along that route. Then if you even want to go bigger, up in LA, there's training centers, which is more of an innovation campus. In reality, you pay money to get access to all their wood shop, metal shop, fabrication shops. And this is very similar to what we've already seen with the Urban Workshop. This guy right up here in Palos Verdes is a really interesting concept because he has basically only digital type makerspace projects. STEM University, where he's talking about coding for robotics, how to program Minecraft. There are Vex, IQ, and robotics. He has competitions. When I went in there and met with him, he was just finishing up a brain mapping concept, which was kind of amazing to see kids, teenagers working on something as serious as that. So basically, in summary of all those trips and shows and people that I met with, kind of look at different ways. There's basically want to provide to kids or people in general space and time to tinker. Let them be creative. And what do you need? You need stuff. From that aspect, it could be anything. You could look at projects in a box or kits that have multiple projects kind of outlined in them. Legos are very much like that. They're Mindstorm Legos. You can buy the kit and you can have 8 or 9 different projects out of there. But what this is really talking about is more of a deeper learning paradigm that is this up-and-coming movement, letting kids go in there and figure it out for themselves and give them the time and play to do that. And when and where, we're looking at basically it's after school and pay-to-play type situations. There is one place that's called the Tinkering School out of San Francisco that will have after-school programs from different subjects that will get you kind of through training in Arduino or robotics or just building stuff. But then this is where we're going. Maybe I don't know. The school concept is in embedding this deeper learning paradigm into an entire school. There's a school called Brightworks up in the Bay Area as well that just is kind of looking at this entire makerspace as a curriculum in the school. So all that being said, thank you for your patience on that. What are we going to do for Concordia? So what I would like to see is some space. I talked to it's going to be obviously up to the principal, but looking at getting the portable classroom as a target for a room and working with the kids and the parents and the teachers on a collaborative design effort. Some of the ideas that I've heard and saw are an entire wall painted in blackboard paint or blackboard mounted onto the wall, mobile carts to move stuff around, maybe even outside on some days, storage lockers for projects in process to be saved for the next day. We need table storage materials. Material management is a key. You can make sure that stuff doesn't just keep walking out the door. So someone to run the program. So supervisor is another key component to make this thing smooth and long-standing. And then at the very get-go is the free time that the kids have at school. Recess, lunch, and after school would be basically phase one. After seeing all the stuff that's out there, some of the stuff that would be age-specific for our group literally are Legos and blocks and Tinker Toys. You can get up and a little bit more advanced level, the motorized programmable Legos. And then there's other products out there that I saw. Some of these are called the Makey kits. Makey is the programmable component. Basically makes anything you want into a touchpad that you can do. When you get something like that, you can actually buy, or not even buy, they're free downloadable lessons, what to make. So if you want to make that game Operation that you remember as a kid, you can actually make that using these tools, create your own electronic circuits, and some basic programming through Scratch technology. Scratch is a very simple drag and drop sort of a computer programming where you have these directions, you drag them into the order that you want the computer to follow them, close them off, make loops, and then here's your computer programming. You can make whatever you want to get done. Scratch Arduino. Arduino is a little bit more of a complex makey kit based on easy to use hardware and software. You can read inputs such as lights on a sensor or fingers on buttons, and you turn that into an output such as activating a motor or turning on an LED. So basically you tell your board what you want to do by sending a set of instructions to the microcontroller, and it takes it out. That sounds pretty complex, but these kids are doing it at elementary school age. Tutorials are just out there already. Things you want to do with these are already out there. So there's these kits that you just need the tools for. Here's an example of what some of these things are being made with. This is called Little Bits. You can make something that actually talks about science and technology, motorized robots, into doing art for you. Little Bits are basically small electronic circuits that are magnet together. It's basically simple. You get your input, this thing tells this what to do, and this thing does it. Teaches the kids a little bit about the circuitry behind the motorized functions of what they build, and you buy these in kits as big as you want, right? So how much money do you want to spend? How many kits you want? This is a little bit more down the road when there's programs around it, but I'll get to that as well. We can look at Ozobots. The next step up from that is another kit. Everything that we're talking about here also has guides. It has projects kind of already mapped out for you, so you just take the time to learn what the project is and you can run the project. And then last thing, Mindstorms are the motorized Legos. Make blocks are basically a little bit of a simplified program or a simplified robot that you can buy. You can also buy parts and get creative, or you can get kits that you look at and you can get as complex as you want. So that is a little bit more of the technical side. The little, I don't know, want to call it basic, but it's a simpler side of taking trash for teaching, scraps and stuff, and making whatever you want to make. Rubber band, tape, glue things together, kind of makerspace technology, even down to art supplies. Kids, I've heard that the blackboard wall is one of the favorites at the grade schools. They just love to just get in there and get creative and write and draw and be artistic on a blackboard that is larger than life. So that is kind of the stuff that I think that would incorporate kindergarten all the way up to 5th grade projects. So we have free play. You can go in there and just free play, but there's also different projects that you can make. The curriculum's in a box. Everything I just showed you on the previous examples from the slides, there's this, dozens and dozens and dozens of projects in a box that you can go out and purchase that just start to finish typically has one end result. This multi-outcome project kit is Legos Techniques has something like this. You can buy the kit and it'll have about 9 or 10 different end results that you can have with the same kit. So it's a little bit more open-ended, but still, it's a really good start to get kids thinking about and knowing out how to use the technology to get creative and do something on their own. Because the free play is not on here, but free play and design is always an option. So what kind of curriculum we have at Concordia? Well, that right now is something that should be discussed with obviously the teachers, but what I found is out there is people to come in and provide some development service, professional development service to teach this deeper learning, open-ended teaching concept where they're really not telling the kids what to do, but having a conversation and a little bit asking questions and letting them have the time and the space to do whatever they want to do. What else can we do? We can look at some of these project kits for the Splash Lab or the makerspace. We have the Splash Lab science teacher can provide her with some of these kits to take a little bit more of an engineering aspect, or we can look at a volunteer in the makerspace for an after school to run a class that has a kit that's fairly start to finish, A to Z kind of deal. And then the third aspect is outsourced teaching curriculums. There's quite a few. We've actually met with some at Concordia that they come in with a set of subjects and projects, and they lead the kids for us. Looking at after school, we can open up the lab for just free play and also advertise a particular project for the day that we can work on, such as that operation game that we made, or looking at making one of these robots or a Lego Mindstorm. So we kind of set up, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to build through it, and then let's figure out what we can do. And how do we get there? Look, here's what we're basically looking at. Is first off, let's get the space dedicated to a makerspace, and let's get the stuff. And then we tell everyone about the open makerspace. The kids can start using it right away for recess and lunch. Then we can look at after school, if we can figure out how we can supervise the space and have free play or have these programs. And then we can also look at bringing classrooms into the makerspace if a teacher decides they want to, there's a program that she found needs the time and the space to do something like that, can work that in there. Then the fourth part, who knows where this goes. This is as deep of a concept that we can, teachers, parents, kids want to take it. And that's all I have. I thank you very much, and we'll basically use that information to start a conversation at our next meeting.